Hey there, my friends. It's Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. Welcome into another edition of Teach Me Tuesday. I am actually going to be sharing a couple things with you today. I wanted to actually highlight something that I just discovered well, I shouldn't say I just discovered that. I've had these for quite some time, but I haven't used them. But I just came to my attention that we actually have foam adhesive sheets too, which I did not notice. So I'm going to grab some of those on my next order and I'll showcase those too. But I wanted to show these adhesive sheets for you today because we have a lot of dies and die cuts and things in the Stampin' Up! Catalog that have detailed dies. So for instance, something like this. So when you're cutting this out and you want to attach it to a project, it's going to take a lot of very intricate gluing to do that. So we have the fine tip glue pen, which works great, but with something like this, it's really hard to get it all kind of stuck down without it kind of drying up and sticking to your hand, and it just makes it a little bit more complicated. So I wanted to show you how these adhesive sheets work, because these will make your life so much easier with these really detailed dies. And what's an added bonus with this is you get all these little hearts inside too. So when you cut them out, now you have all of these hearts that have adhesive on them, so you can actually save those and keep those. So this die is a great one to have and to use with these sheets, because now I've got all these little embellishments that I can use, and they're already pre-sticky, so that's kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to show you this card. This is what I did with my little hearts, and I wanted to use the gnome set. I am actually I still have my Stamp Club of the Month open, which you don't have to be a member, so to say, to participate. You can come and go as you want, but if you participate 6 months in a row, you get a $25 product bonus from me. But this one is my featured stamp of the month, and I've been playing with it all month, but I'll show you the cards quickly. So these are the cards you'll get as part of Stamp Club this month. You get 2 each of the 4 designs. So I cut and prep all the supplies for you and send them off to you. And then you have the option to add in the stamp set if you want to. It's $35 for the base kit without the stamps, and you'll get this really pretty, a full roll of this really pretty Snowflake Splendor ribbon, and you'll also get a full sheet of these elegant faceted dots that you'll use on all your projects. And then I also created cute little tag to coordinate that I'll give as my little gift. So that will be pre-made for you. These will just be kits. And then, like I said, you can add on the stamp set. It's $19. I don't do the tax and shipping on it. If you add it with your kit, you just pay the $19, which is the retail price of the stamp set. So it's $35 for the 8 kits plus the little tag. And then if you add this on, it's an additional $19. So that's my Stamp Club of this month. And that's still open as of right now. I'll put the link in the YouTube description below. That will be closing this week though. So you'll want to make sure you do that quickly if this is of interest to you. But I wanted to show you that the stamp set isn't just for Christmas. I used this little guy for a Valentine card, and I used it with this heart detail, the detail hearts. So I thought I would show you how I did that. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have a thick Whisper White cardstock measuring 8.5 by 5.5, and I pre-scored it at 4 1/4. So I'm just going to give that a nice crease with my bone folder. Then I have 2 sheets of 4 by 5 1/4. This one's just going to go flat onto my card base, and I can go ahead and do that now. I'll just attach that. Okay. All right. Kind of right in the middle there. And I'm going to set that aside. This one is the one we're going to use with our adhesive sheets. So you get 12 of these 6 by 12 inch pieces of adhesive sheets. So I think it's $10 for the 12 sheets. And you get the full sheet of the adhesive. So I'm going to put those aside. You'll see one side is just a full backed sheet. The other side has little slits in it to allow for you to be able to easily peel those off. So what you want to do is you're going to cut a piece that's just slightly smaller than the piece you want to use in your big die, in your die cutting machine. You don't want it to overlap the edges, because then it's going to stick to your plates and to everything that it comes in contact with. So the other little tip I'll give you too is it's best if you cut across these lines so that you have places to peel. If you do it this way, it would still work too, but that's going to leave this one here so that there's not a lot of, like if I used a small die, there wouldn't be anywhere to peel it. Not to mention this is the better use of your adhesive because you're wasting less of it. So what I usually do is I just lay it on there and I eyeball it. And I just cut myself a little piece here. And I am going just a little bit inside of it because like I said, we don't want it to overlap at all. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight either, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to cut that. So there's my strip. Okay, I am going to try and make sure that it really, like that's a little bit close to the edge. So I'm just going to kind of tighten this up a little bit. And I'm going to trim down one side a little bit too, just so that it doesn't hang over. Okay, so now we have this. I'm going to trim a little bit more off the top here. You do probably want to use a pair of scissors that are designed for adhesive stuff. So this little ribbon charm that's on my scissors, that indicates to me these are my adhesive scissors. So I know that I can cut sticky things with it and it's fine because I don't use it for anything else. All right, so now you can see it's just inside, right? So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to peel. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong side. You want to leave the side with the slits in it, you want to leave that side on. You want to peel off the side that's the full backing. So you're going to peel that off. It can be a little tricky. Sometimes take your pick tool will be a good little addition right here. You can pick up the edge. Seriously, just because we're on camera right now, it's going to be difficult because I didn't have any trouble with it the last time. All right, so I'm going to peel that backing off. And then I'm going to carefully put it onto my cardstock. Okay, whoops. Ah, stuck to my fingers. Actually, you should probably do this one little section at a time would be easier. Like peel off the little top part, like roll it down and then attach it. If that makes sense. Don't peel off the 3 separate layers, but this will be fine because it's a full sheet. I'm just gonna like roll, if you roll your fingers, it comes right off. Okay. So there we go. That's kind of the trickiest part. You're going to do that pretty quickly. But like I said, if I had done this, if I had done it and kind of rolled it back and attached it, and then rolled the rest of it back and attached the rest of it, probably would have went a little bit smoother. But, you know, live and learn. So don't do what I do. All right, so now this is going to be our back side. So we want to cut the front side. So our die cut has the cutting edge here. So I'm going to put it down, face towards my red cardstock, and I'm going to run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And you do want to do this a couple of times. So I always do back and forth, and then I usually just do a third time just for good measure because it is a little bit thicker because it's got that adhesive on it. So you just want to make sure it's fully die cut through. Some people actually flip it over like this and die cut it that way because then you can see if it's through or not. But I still prefer to do it this way to make sure I have it on my cardstock correctly. And then I'll show you what I do to make sure it's fully cut before I actually start peeling it off. So like I said, I'm going to do once, and then I'm going to go back, and then I do it one more time just for good measure. And I know it's a little extra work, but it'll be worth it in the end, I promise. So it's going to really save you time when you're trying not to have to glue everything down. So see, now I have all these cute little hearts that have adhesive on them that I can use. But what I do is I just kind of flip it over and make sure, especially these little intricate little center parts are all the way cut through before I start pulling this apart, which it is. It's fine. Oh, and I missed a little bit of the adhesive, but that's fine too. There'll be enough on this that'll hold it still. So I'm going to go ahead and put my big shed away. After I drop a cutting plate on my foot. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. We'll leave that there. I am going to grab my little foam mat. And my take your pick tool, it has the little die brush adapter. And I'm just going to kind of run that over. These hearts pop out really easy. I'm just trying to make sure these little sections right like in here and in here come out because those sometimes can be a little tricky when you're peeling it apart. Okay, so now you can see this comes right off. Oh, came right out of my die. And then I'm going to carefully just remove any of these other little pieces here. This is why for this one I go 3 times, because there's in this those little coves, I guess we can call them, they sometimes get really stuck. So I just want to make sure that it's all fully off. This one is a little bit tricky, but it's such a good one to use with these sheets because of those little hearts. Now you've got all these little embellishments you can use. There we go. And you can see part of it has started to peel off. That's totally fine. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm going to move that out of the way, get my little hearts out of the way. Now with this, I'm going to recommend you do what I should have done when we were taping the adhesive down. So remember, it comes off in little sections. So I'm going to take the top section here, and we'll peel that off and see how nicely this comes off. So we'll peel all of that off. Okay. And then I'm actually going to peel this piece off too because it's not attached to anything. So let's peel those off. Okay. Same over here. I'm going to go ahead, peel these off too. Okay. Now that I've got that done, I'm going to go ahead and start to attach this to my card. And I just want to kind of put it right at the top. The good thing is it's not like so sticky that you can't undo it if you make a mistake. But once you kind of burnish it down, it's really kind of good to go. So you want to make sure you get it in the spot you want it before you really, really dive into it. So then I'm going to just go ahead, fold it over. And I'm going to take off the next section, which there's a little extra there. There we go. Take that off. And now it's going to go down a little bit more. So now you can see why I like to put it on so it overlaps the 3 different layers so that you can kind of put it together in 3 different layers. All right, so now I'm going to flip this over and just make sure it's kind of straight and then stick that down. And again, sometimes little pieces get stuck like that. We'll just take that off. Trying to keep the whole picture in line so that I can see that everything's straight. It's a little off here. Actually, I'm going to pick this up and move this over just a little bit, so it's a little more even. Okay. All right, and then the last one, we'll just peel this off like that. Put that down. Again, trying not to distort my little hearts, which I did a little bit there, but it's fine. And then the last one here. Like that. And like that. Okay, now it looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead, make sure all the little insides are out. I'm going to just really burnish that down. You could use your bone folder too if you have that handy. You could just kind of burnish everything. Make sure it's good and stuck. Like that. Okay, and now we can go ahead with the rest of our card. So, isn't that fun? And like I said, now if I wanted to, I could add some little hearts that have adhesive already on the back, which is really cool. So I'll keep a little bucket of those so that when and if I ever need them, I'll have them. All right, so now I'm going to take the little gnome from my gnome stamp set. I'm going to stamp him in Memento Black. I punched out a 2 1/4 inch Whisper White circle with my 2 1/4 inch circle punch. So I got him right on that circle, like that. And then I used Real Red, Flirty Flamingo, and Smoky Slate to color him. So I'm going to do actually a little bit different, I think, this time. I think I'm going to do his little jumper here. We're going to do in the Real Red. Just shows a tiny bit. And then there's a little bit over here too. Okay. Oh, and his little arm right there. And then I'm going to do the hat in the lighter red. I did it the opposite on the first one, and I like it this way better. I think, anyway. I haven't done it yet, but I think I'm gonna like it better. It seemed backwards. Okay, and then I used the dark Flirty Flamingo on the little bell. We did a little pink bell since it's Valentine's Day. Doing a little early for Valentine's Day, but I just wanted to show you that this gnome stamp set has some potential for other holidays and uses. Okay, and then I did actually take this and I just kind of added a little bit of pink into his beard. He colored it a little bit. Okay, and then I took my ivory for his skin tone, so we did his nose in ivory, where his little eyes are, and then the little hands. Okay, and then I used the dark smoky slate for his shoes. Okay, like that. And then I attached this to one of the larger circles from the Stitched Shapes dies. Those are some of my absolute favorites. So I attached him to that. Kind of fits right inside the circle. And then for this one, I thought it was kind of cute because his arms are kind of like open, and I knew I had a stamp set that had something to that effect, so I found it. It was my Dino Days stamp set, and it says, "I love you this much." And then it says it's more than it looks because it's supposed to be for the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which you could probably put that on here too, because it's probably more than it looks too, right? He's got a little bit more of a wingspan than the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it's still kind of a short little wingspan. But I just wanted to use the top part. So I took my stamp and I used my Stampin' Write marker and the paintbrush side, and I just colored the part that says "I love you this much," and I didn't color the rest of it, and that way I only get the top part of the greeting. And I pre-cut a little piece of the I think it's Blushing Bride is what I used for the pink. So I pre-cut that, and because this is a see-through stamp, I can actually see right where I'm going. So I'm going to stamp that right in the middle. Straight down, straight up. There you go. And then I think I did trim this down a little bit just because I wanted it really close into the sentiment. I think I used my trimmer, but I'm just going to use my scissors. And I'm using my adhesive scissors, which isn't the best idea, but it's what's right here, so that's what I did. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just to kind of squinch it down a little bit. I like really thin really thin sentiment strips for some reason. Okay, there you go. It's not 100% straight, but like I said, you could use your trimmer and that would be a little bit neater, but I'm fine with it. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive in the middle where it overlaps, like this. Okay, and then I took a piece of basic black. This is 3 1/4 by 1 inch. I'm going to do some banner ends on this. I could pull out my banner punch, but I'm just so used to doing this with my scissors that it's sometimes easier for me. I'm going to do this side, snip in the middle, corner to center, and corner to center, like that. Okay, get that out of the way. This is going to kind of go right in the middle, a little bit off to one side. I'm going to put a little seal plus on that. Make sure that's good and burnished. I'm going to grab some dimensionals. We're going to put our little gnome on with some dimensionals. This is a pretty big circle, so I'm just going to do 4 all the way around that. And then I'm going to attach that so it's just kind of lining up with the bottom. This looks like it's crooked. So let's straighten that out. There we go. Okay. So there's that. And then I grabbed some of the ribbon from the Trimming the Town ribbon combo pack. So it's got red with golds edging. And And I'm just going to tie a little bow with that. Okay, kind of floof it up a little bit, like that. And we'll trim it down. Take it out of the way. I'm going to use my glue dots. Make this a little bit smaller, like that. Grab a glue dot, pinch that together so it's underneath, and then I'm just going to stick this over here on the side, and I'm going to tuck this under the sentiment so it doesn't cover it, and then I'll just trim down my edges so they're not too long. There we go. And then I grabbed the Elegant Faceted Dots, which again, these are one of the embellishments that's included in the Gnomes Stamp Club projects. And we'll put that up there, and then we'll use a bigger one down here. There. And there you have it, the finished card. Super cute, right? He's so much fun to play with. I really love this set. I'm kind of addicted at the moment. So again, if you want to join us for the Stamp Club projects, you'll get 2 each of these designs, the 4 gray and mint macaron cards. And then also I make a little hand stamped thank you, which I don't normally show you, but I thought I would give you a sneak peek of what that is to this month. And then you'll get the 8 kits in the mail, and it's written tutorials, so there's no live class, so to say. It's all written tutorials that are emailed out to you when the kits ship, and then you can do them at your own pace. And then of course you have the stamp set. If you want to add it on, you'd have the stamp set to do other cards. I actually copied this one from I forget, it was Amanda, I think the Crafty Spa or something like that. She did this really cute card, and I copied that one for an event this past weekend. So there's just so much potential with this cute little set. So I hope you'll join me for it. If you like this video, please be sure to hit like. I love when that happens. And if you really want to make my day, go ahead and hit subscribe. That really makes me smile. All right, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.